Why in the world does it have to be so hot? I swear, I'm melting. Well, that would mean I'm a witch, right? Oh, Athea bunny. I wonder you could see it. Do you see the bunny? Right there. He's just stopped in the middle of the lawn. Anyhow, I was trying to remember where I left off the last vlog. I haven't been doing it, and it's because, have you ever had one of those days, weeks, months, where you just can't explain what's going on in your head, what you're feeling, what you're thinking? It just doesn't feel right inside your head. And I have no real reason to be depressed. It just is, it's just there. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. I mean, I've been doing really great with the VIP kids. Very happy with it. Matthew's fine. Chris is fine now that his hand is healed. My mom is fine. Amanda's fine. My grandkids are fine. It just sort of happens, and I can't really seem to shake it this time. So I haven't been vlogging, and I know the other reason is because this particular vlog is something that you don't really necessarily always want to talk about, and you know, you get emotional, and I don't really want to do that, especially when I'm feeling depressed. But anyways, when I was well, how do I start it? Basically, my panic attacks after going through therapy, I have deducted there have been two major things that contributed to the reason why I was always so nervous and just a worrywart. The first one being when I was 12 years old, my father, who I did not see on a regular basis, decided that he was going to pick my sister and I up for a weekend to spend with him and my stepmother and my new brother. I mean, great. You know, we like I said, we did not see him very often, so it was great to get that opportunity. We never received gifts from him, cards from him. It was just whenever the mood struck him. Anyways, we're driving from where we lived in Lakewood, Ohio, to where he lived in Streetsboro, Ohio, and we had to go on the highway. And something happened with the car. I couldn't tell you what. It just stopped, and we had to pull off to the side, and it was dark. And if you remember, I mean, we're talking in the late 70s, I believe. The cars, when you would open up the hood, there would be this big gap along the bottom where if you're sitting, you could, you know, you're in the front seat, you could see right through. And I don't know why this bothered me. I guess it's because it's your dad and you think, oh, gross. But he's out there checking the car, and then he just decides to urinate. So, of course, he just whips it out, and, you know, I can see everything. Not what a young girl... It was kind of, I don't know, more than just gross. It was just, you don't want to see that. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So we got back in the car, and after trying to fix it, trying to do something with it, and I'm in the front, Tracy's in the back, and Tracy had fallen asleep. She was 10, and it was getting late. So, like I said, it was dark. And at that time, we don't have cell phones. They didn't have anything like that. So, he's like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to wait and see if somebody, stops and helps us. I have no way to get a hold of my stepmother. And so, I guess he started holding me because I was nervous. Like I said, I was a nervous kid. Um, I just was always scared, nervous, whatever. Everything bothered me. Everything got to me. Don't really know why it happened like that, but it did. And then all of a sudden he started kissing me. And I'm not talking just a peck. And the next thing I know, and I'm trying to remember, like, what kind of clothing did I have on? Was it summer? Was it winter? I believe it was more summer because I don't remember wearing a coat or anything like that, and I don't remember being cold. But he then started to use his hands, and I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. So I got up and I turned around and I tried to wake Tracy up. Couldn't do it. And of course, the whole time that I'm trying to wake her up, he's in my pants. And then all of a sudden, I see headlights because I'm looking back behind the car. And I swear that was my guardian angel. Because he then, of course, had to stop and he got out of the car. And whoever it was, I never found out if it was a male or a female. He came back to the car and said whoever it was going to take him to a gas station and get a tow truck. But he left us there. Come on. Who leaves two young kids? I mean, I don't care if back then, parents weren't as concerned about, child molesters or kidnappings or anything like that, but you don't leave your kid in a car like that. Anyways, he came back and he had the tow truck and we went to the gas station. He tried to call my stepmother, couldn't get a hold of her, and he comes back to the car and he says, we may have to stay here and sleep in the car because they can't, it's after hours, they can't work on it now. And I'm panicking, I'm crying. So he tries to call my stepmother, and he did get a hold of her, and she came and picked us up. And as I said, we were spending a weekend out there, and I did not sleep that whole weekend. I couldn't. I was afraid that, he might try something again, and I wasn't about to sleep. And it was not just for my protection, but it was for my sister's protection as well. I can't go to sleep and let something happen to her. It took me 2 years before I could tell my mother. And the only reason I told my mother at that time was because we found out he had moved to Florida, and he came back from Florida, and he saw me, and he said he wanted to take me to Florida with him for the summer. Nothing about my sister. And I had asked him, what about Tracy? He's like, well, all right, but, I kind of just wanted to take you. And anyways, that's when I told my mom what happened, and I'm begging her, please don't let him take me to Florida. Don't let him take me to Florida. Needless to say, he never came back because that's just the kind of guy he is. You can't rely on him for anything. But instead, of course, I didn't wait around. I had asked my mom if she would let me go to Kentucky with a friend of mine and her family. And I was gone for 2 weeks. And he never came back anyways. But it was because of that kind of shaped me. And the other thing was, for as long as I could remember, far back as I can remember, my mom was a drinker, a heavy drinker. And that lasted until I was 19 when I became pregnant with my first child. My husband said, if she's drinking, she's not going to have anything to do with the baby. I don't want her around the baby when she's drinking. So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, I got people looking at me through the window. Anyways, it was a difficult time, but again, that's another thing that shaped me. My only, because she just, I don't want to, I mean, I live with my mom, so it's kind of hard right now to, really talk about it a lot because I don't want to make her feel bad. But at the same time, she knows. She rarely cooked for us. We had to fend for ourselves. The the best meal, I look forward to school days because school lunches, love them. Most kids hate them, but that's what I looked forward to. I was 98 pounds for a long time, very, very skinny, and of course you wouldn't, be able to tell that now, but there's another reason for that. Um, I took care of my sister, and I think she resented me for it because I was the big sister, and she didn't want to listen to me. Come on. And I think that's why she got in trouble a lot. She hung up with the wrong crowd and did things, a lot of things that she shouldn't have. But I got blamed for a lot because I was the older sister. Anyway, so yeah, that's why alcoholism and drinking itself is something that does not agree with me. I will have an occasional drink, but it is certainly not something that I do often. That whole life, that whole time, I felt like I had to grow up so fast, and I didn't have the supervision. In fact, my mom let me have a 16th birthday party, and she bought booze. I remember that. And so yeah, those two things were definitely something that shaped me for later on in life. So I'm gonna go ahead. It's been a long vlog, obviously, and it's a lot to talk about and take in and relive, but it is good to talk about it. I appreciate if you've listened to this long. I thank you, and if you ever are in need of help, please don't feel. I mean, reach out, definitely reach out. I know some people, when they have agoraphobia and panic attacks, they, you know, are afraid to reach out. It's not easy, I know. You feel like, you're such a failure and nobody understands. But you have to reach out. Don't let it go. And yeah, so, drop me a message. And, if I can help, I will. If not, then I'll point you in the right direction. And I hope this helps somebody. Um, of course, you hear the old, if you like it, subscribe, hit like, that kind of thing. I do appreciate it. Um, so thanks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time. Hopefully it's not too long in between. Till then, take care.